Why do you train, JT?
Why do I train?
Big question.
I think now to a certain extent it's just become a bit of a, it's just part of what I do. Yeah, it's what I do, it's what I am. I train. I think I've had times where I don't train and it just feels weird. I don't feel like it's me. Feel sluggish, feel lazy. Actually, we'll put some 20s on now. Yeah, it's just what I do. I've done it for so long now. I think if I didn't do it, it'd just be really weird. I enjoy it, although I moan about it every now and then. I enjoy training, I enjoy the benefits, both physically and just kind of how it makes me feel.
When you haven't trained in the past, how has that affected like the rest of your life or how you feel generally?
I think the first time I went through a real big period of not training was when I finished playing rugby actually. I was injured. Yeah, and the injury kind of knocked me for 6. Found it really tough actually. So it was the injury initially that kind of stopped me training, but then I think just my mindset, I kind of came out the team and didn't quite get the contract that I was looking for, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it massively knocked my confidence a lot. Just basically started going out for 3 years. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, out, Bromley, drinking, like not really caring that much.
Were you a PT at the time then?
Nah, I wasn't a PT then at all. I just enjoyed training. But I enjoyed training, I mean, I trained when I was younger anyway, but then obviously my purpose turned to try and train for rugby. But then as soon as that rugby kind of got taken away from me, it was like I was just a bit lost. Didn't really know what to do with it. Yeah, I found it really, really tough. And like I say, I think I had like 3 years where I barely saw the inside of a gym. And then one day I was just like, yeah, this is not good. Like you need to sort this out. So yeah, just kind of dragged myself back into the gym and I knew that I had to start getting back into a bit of a routine, getting myself moving again. It's actually what kind of got me into coaching and rehab actually was that injury.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, the club were okay.
Were you playing rugby a long time before you became a coach?
When did I finish playing rugby? I must have finished playing rugby when I was just before 18. So I was like 17, 18 when I finished playing. And then, when did I start coaching? Dear me, 21? Yeah, 21, 22 maybe. I just kind of went back to my rugby training, all the training that I'd done beforehand. And it was like if you weren't being sick, you weren't working hard enough. Pain didn't matter, you just kind of cracked on. Yeah, so I kind of went into my first PT role with that mindset. And the PT manager that actually hired me was a boxer, and he had that kind of mentality as well. So he almost kind of encouraged it to a certain extent. So I went onto the gym floor thinking like, yeah, this is perfect, this is me. Like I found my little kind of gap in the market, whereas actually, you know, there's plenty of those PTs around. And there's a PT at Virgin actually who did a lot of rehab style work, very more specific. And he just knew his stuff. He was very, very clever, and I kind of liked the way that he did things. So I actually started heading bits and bobs down that route. I just kind of tried to pick his brain as much as I possibly could. And then slowly but surely just started to implement that into what I was doing with my own training, but also then with my clients. So my client base kind of changed. I stopped being perceived as this really scary looking PT on the gym floor and became like the second go-to guy for someone who was a bit more kind of rehab or prehab focused, which was great. And it kind of really mellowed me out as well. There's still a kind of little militant side in the background, but it's way quieter than it used to be. So yeah, I kind of look at things from my own training and the stuff that I do with clients and people in the gym from a very different point of view now, which is good because the militant stuff was okay for a short while, but actually in terms of the results that it gets you is very minimal really.
So you touched on your injury, obviously that sounds like it was a struggle. Tell me about some of the successes that you had throughout your journey. You're modest.
I guess just being in that position with the rugby in the first place. You know, played to a pretty decent level. I enjoyed it.
What did the rugby fans out?
Well, I played rugby league. So
what level were you?
us down the south don't really get the league side of it. But So basically I played for London Broncos Academy and kind of went into a bit of a scholarship scheme with them, kind of under 16 level. And they then got taken over, I think I went into administration I believe, and they got taken over by Harlequins. So I played under their kind of under 18 academy for a little while. So yeah, so that was kind of the level that I got to, with the idea that I would have liked to have got a bit higher. But so yeah, success is like being in that semi-professional, professional lifestyle kind of outfit was great, and a lot of people would love to be in that position. So I definitely say that was a success. So yeah, from like successes, I guess coaching wise, professionally, yeah, I've been fairly successful as a coach. To start with, it probably wasn't looking that way. When I first started at Virgin, I was kind of thrown in the deep end a little bit, and yeah, I sunk rather than swam, I think would be fair to say.
Why do you think that was?
It wasn't that, being in that environment with a really big gym floor, which was really not me. And it was kind of like a sign your contract, there's a huge gym floor, where you go find clients. It scared the living daylights out of me, and it was like going up and talking to people that were training, and I hated that anyway. And yeah, I had to really force myself out of my comfort zone massively. So I'd say even that was a success in itself, just doing something I would never normally do. And actually built up really quite a successful kind of one-to-one PT business, if you will, at Virgin. Kind of worked my way through to get an opportunity to do a little bit of management of one of the kind of the biggest clubs in, I guess, South England. I'm not quite sure what it is, but managed like 15 PTs for a while, which was a very steep learning curve, but an interesting one. Coached at a number of gyms, kind of been in the commercial side, been into CrossFit gyms, obviously now here at T2FIT, which has been by far the best place to coach at, without a shadow of a doubt. Just the level of quality in the coaching and members, and just the whole ethos of the gym has just been fantastic, something that you don't really get at the commercial stuff. So I'd say in a way that one of my biggest successes is kind of finding this place now, and hoping that I can kind of progress through and pick people's brains. It's one of the things that I really missed in my last role, was I wasn't around other people. I had no real kind of team around me. I think I thrive much better in that environment rather than just being kind of stuck on your own. So yeah, I'd say I'd overall fairly successful, but I'm kind of hoping that the biggest successes start kind of now.
So you said that obviously you're being a bit more general at the moment, where you're getting into consistency.
Yeah.
What are you going to have to get more specific for? Have you got anything lined up, or are you?
Yeah, the conditioning, so the running. The running's going to be the big thing. So.
What's that for?
So it's for a rat race. I think it's called Man to Coast, something like that. I think it's July the 1st this year. It's between, I think, 22 to 25 miles, depending on what the course they set out is. I'm not sure how you pronounce the place that you start at. I think it's like Marazion, something like that. And you kind of run across and finish in Land's End. But it's like an adventure race, so off-road kind of trail running, but a lot of coastal running. Also, you're in and out the sea, which is quite cool.
Do you have to navigate yourself?
No. So they have like, it's all like course marshalled and stuff, as far as I'm aware.
I'm going to lose you.
No. You may still lose me, but hopefully not. So yeah, running's always been something that, especially long distance, it's never really been a big strength for me. So yeah, again, it'll be a nice way of kind of pushing out the comfort zone. Did a little bit of longer stuff when I trained for a triathlon just before kind of lockdown happened, but nothing really past like a 15k mark, really.
How long is this one?
22 to 25 miles.
Oh, right. So
It's yeah. I'm hoping more on the 22 side, to be fair. So that'd be an interesting one. So yeah, the kind of endurance side is definitely going to be a little bit of a focal point for the first half of the year, especially you've got 3 peaks as well the week after, which will be interesting. So I'm hoping the recovery side will be pretty good. And then yeah, past that point, not quite sure. My main goal for the year though, I've kind of gestured about it a little bit, is just to not get injured. That's my main goal. If I can get through a year, a 12-month cycle of not getting injured, I'm going to count it as a win, regardless of kind of what I look like at the end of it. I'm going to take it as an absolute win. Yeah, unfortunately the injury is just something that's kind of plagued me non-stop. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a challenge, but definitely something I'm looking forward to, and like I say, out of my comfort zone, which will be no bad thing. But yeah, hopefully slightly under 100 kilos as well, fingers crossed. Otherwise that will be spicy.
Got into the rehab side of things.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and what that looked like.
So when my clientele changed a little bit initially at Virgin and kind of going into the CrossFit stuff, I started to see a lot of people who had mobility restrictions, pain, discomfort, shoulders, backs, knees, and did the best I could to kind of help and go through things on, as you do, YouTube, Kelly Starrett, Mobility WOD, all that kind of stuff, and I found it quite frustrating. I just kind of wanted to like hands-on help, like do this rather than trying to explain it the whole time. And I kind of knew a little bit, but probably didn't know enough. I was kind of winging it to a certain extent. And then when I moved to my kind of second CrossFit gym, nothing really changed. I was kind of just getting more and more frustrated that I couldn't actually get hands-on. And at that point I was running, again, quite a good team of coaches, quite a few coaches. I guess nothing really set me apart from them. I was just kind of like another coach in the gym. So I was like, well, what can I do to actually scratch the itch of the knowledge side that I was missing and kind of set myself slightly apart? So yeah, I looked at the kind of sports massage side of things and realised that I needed something else. I needed to kind of really delve a little bit deeper into anatomy and physiology, mechanics and stuff like that. And it's one of those where you start to, the more you know, you start to realise that you know nothing. So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge for me. So I enrolled in that course. I was in that course for like 18 months. That was with the North London School of Sports Massage. And it was a great course, really in depth. A load of kind of hands-on practical stuff, but also a lot on the anatomy and physiology side, a lot of papers, a lot of research. And I was very lucky to get asked to kind of go back at the end of the course and train up to be a tutor and actually teach the course that I'd just taken. So it's quite a quick turnaround after kind of passing the course and then putting a blue polo on and going back in and kind of helping out, which was really strange. And actually, I think I was there for like just shy of a year, actually kind of leading sessions and taking people through that course, which was amazing, really, really impressive and really helpful to go back through the course and the content and continue learning that way. But after a while, I just realised it kind of, I guess the massage it's something that I enjoyed and it's a tool that I like to use, but wasn't the be all and end all for me. And I wanted to kind of then go almost the other way and go a bit more kind of teaching again, like in the one-to-one environment, and try and mix the two. So take the knowledge and stuff that I'd learnt in the course and the A&P and the mechanical side and put that into the same realm of all the one-to-one stuff that I'd done for so many years previous and try and find a bit of a mix between the two. So yeah, had a kind of a massage business for a while alongside the one-to-one PT, still doing the gym coaching as well for the CrossFit, but then decided just before lockdown, which was a great time, to basically get rid of all my one-to-one PT clients and actually focus on the massage side. And obviously then lockdown hit, still had the coaching jobs, so kind of carried on through that. And actually since starting here at T2, the massage side, I just haven't really pushed. I've a couple of people that I see every now and then, kind of have a bit of a check-in, but it's just really nice to be able to not necessarily treat all the time, but be able to apply that knowledge into coaching. And there's just so much more that I'd like to do, like knowledge-wise and courses. Yeah, but it's time and unfortunately a lot of money. But bit by bit, I think I'll kind of just chip some courses off here and there and continue that learning, because it is really interesting. I think as a coach, you always need to be looking for that kind of further development, even when you get to a decent point. The day that you stop wanting to learn is a bad day. So. But yeah, so I enjoy the massage side, but I enjoy it because I see a lot less people and I can actually kind of take that time with them, rather than it being, like unfortunately it is a lot of time where you rush in, you get seen for 15 minutes and you get thrown out again. And I think it can really be complemented by the strength and conditioning side of the kind of things that we do here. So yeah, it was definitely a pursuit of knowledge to start with, and I guess a little bit of frustration that I couldn't do more. And wanting to do more, but knowing the proper way of doing so. Yeah, so I'm glad I did it, but yeah, plenty more to delve into, I'm sure.
What are the biggest things that you've learned or lessons that you've learned over the years that you've been coaching?
I think the biggest one is there's more than one way. As I said, like I think I always, when I first started, I went into it with an idea that it was just circuits, go, 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 go. If you weren't sweating, being sick, then you know you weren't working hard enough. If you weren't doing that, why? Sort it out. And not only did I find out that that's just not necessarily the way anyway. So a lot of people, you know, different goals, different reasons for being there. It's not always about, you know, getting shredded and all the weight loss and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, yeah, you get a majority of that, but yeah, people are there for very, very, very different reasons. I think it was just kind of being a bit more, what's the word? Empathetic, I guess is probably the word. So yeah, being more empathetic with people and just me, myself, just chilling out a little bit. I was like, even kind of early days CrossFit, when I started coaching, I had a very specific idea of what I wanted to see and what I wanted someone to achieve, whether in a one-to-one or a group environment. If they weren't quite getting that, I almost took it personally, like I hadn't done my job properly, and I always had a very, very, very high standard, not only of myself, but the person in front of me. And it took me a while to realise that it's not always about being perfect. It's about, you know, as I said earlier, turning up sometimes. You know, the effort might be a little bit lower, but just being there, being in the room, being in front of you could be a huge step for someone. And they may just need that time. They may not want that perfect overhead squat. They might just enjoy being in that environment, meeting new people, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it just kind of sounds bad to say lowering my expectations, but it's just not being so hard on myself and the client or clients, and just being, yeah, way more empathetic to, yeah, a number of different reasons why someone may want to train with you or be in the gym.
So at the moment, what would like a typical training week look like for you? What are you doing training-wise?
At the moment, it's like just before Christmas, probably getting into quite a consistent place. But actually it was just less about what I was actually doing and more about just turning up. And just getting into the habit of doing something again just on a daily basis. Didn't have to be flash, didn't have to be sexy, didn't have to be very long, kind of 30, 45 minutes, but just turning up every day. It was actually working really well. Christmas happened. So I think, you know, for the first part, kind of Jan, Feb, just kind of adopting that same kind of mentality and protocol, just kind of just turning up, get something done, and actually just doing things for the most part that I want to do that day. I've had it too long where you're stuck to a program or you have to do a certain thing, and kind of forcing yourself through a session that maybe you don't enjoy. Like I'm over with that now. Like I want to turn up and enjoy my time in the gym and do something I want to do, as long as it is kind of conducive to where I want to go. So for the first part, yeah, turn up, enjoy it. Nothing too crazy, try not to just kill myself. Try and manage the intensity a little bit. So it could be anything, real basic lifts, push, pull, squat, lunge, hinge. Nothing special, nothing special.
And would you kind of on the day have an idea of the split or the body part or the kind of
sometimes
you want to do?
Sometimes
make the exercise around that.
Yeah, sometimes I just look at my week. So it's a Friday, for example. I just think back to what I've done so far, and just try and make sure that throughout the course of a week I've just hit, I guess, each body part or each function. So that hinge, deep knee flexion, that kind of stuff. So try and tie into mechanics with it and just make sure they hit all of those different bits in various forms. Just try and change it up a little bit. But sometimes I just warm up and just figure out what I'm going to do that day as I go. Maybe I don't even know what exercise 2 is yet, but just start with 1 and figure it out as we go. But that will change a little bit, and kind of as we go through the year and put some things in place, and yeah, those sessions will need to be a bit more tailored, and I know where I'm going with it and direction and stuff, but just enjoying the freedom for the time being, I think, which is nice, which is really nice.
So was roughly your initial sort of like entry point into the industry? You said that you've been playing on for quite a few years, had a bit of time on.
Yeah, I guess so, to a certain extent. I guess being part of the club, we was around quite high level coaches, both kind of on field stuff and even in the gym. So we had, even at quite a young age, we had programs we had to complete and nutritional advice and things like that. So we had quite a few things taken care of. And I always wanted to be a player, but I always looked at the other side of it and was like, I can't play, I have to be in a coaching environment. Ideally, I guess it's part of a sports team, but incredibly hard to get into on both counts. So I guess I was always around quite decent coaches, and then a good friend of mine, Scott, made the jump actually after university into coaching himself. He played decent level rugby as well, and actually went into very high level athletics. So I always had him as a training partner, which was great. Another friend of mine played rugby with me as well, so I was quite lucky to be around kind of a fairly high level kind of sporting friendship group as well. And then when he made the jump into the coaching, he kind of almost not talked me into it, but kind of said like, no, you should really jump into this would be awesome. So I did, in a way. Just kind of followed what he said, and I trusted him and kind of decided that I was going to come out the job that I was currently in. Yeah, train up, did my level 3. I actually was working in a warehouse doing like motorcycle like accessories and stuff like that, so completely left field. And actually at that point I was living down in Dorset. So yeah, kind of all that finished, and then came home and signed up to a level 3 qualification almost like a month later, and just kind of got cracking. Pretty much walked straight into my first job at Virgin. So a quick turnaround. But yeah, all kind of come off a conversation I had with a good friend of mine, Scott, and yeah, kind of never looked back. But even then, when he was doing his qualification and doing his kind of first few months at David Lloyd, kind of I saw that journey and picked a few things up. Didn't help me when I got onto the gym floor at Virgin, though, mind you, for a short period of time. But eventually, it was nice to kind of bounce ideas off someone and kind of go through that experience quite close to someone else. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into the coaching initially. Plus, I just wanted to be in a gym. I enjoy being in that environment. I wanted to be around, again, like-minded people. The idea of a free gym membership sounded amazing. But yeah, it's like if I can turn up and kind of show people kind of the gym can be a really cool place to be, then that'd be amazing. Get paid doing it, even better. Plus, yeah, I guess the cliche thing is you want to try and help people as much as you possibly can. I would say more so I'm in that mindset now. I think more at the time it was just like, this seems like a cool job to have. But yeah, more so now, having that idea of someone coming in and you being able to really, really help is huge. So I probably got into it for slightly different reasons and I stayed in it. But yeah, I can kind of thank/blame my mate Scott a little bit, I think.